Hi, you're watching SightsIn Plus, and this is Sreenivasan. Please do subscribe the channel for the HR news, for HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, thought leaders, and business heads. Today, we are going to discuss about the future of work in 2024. Future of work means we are going to discuss that how the workplace, and workforce is getting evolved in 2024. And we have two senior HR leaders. Let me introduce Dr. Anubha Walia. She's a director at Prism Philosophy, and she's a chairperson of ISTD Delhi. And another panelist is Ms. Harini Sreenivasan. She is a partner at Semcostyle Institute, India. Harini, if I start with you, and so what is your opening comment on this? How do you see what is going to be the future of work in 2024?
Okay, thank you so much, and absolutely happy to be here with you and Anubha. And future of work is something that I'm actually currently working on as part of the vision and mission of our organization. And future of work is nothing. If I put it in a very simple way, it's about turning things upside down. It's about looking at workspaces, looking at roles in the workspace, looking at jobs, looking at all of that in a completely different perspective. It's we are talking of a paradigm shift when we say future of work. So if I have to elaborate a little bit, uh, we've all been attuned to working in line with Frederick Taylor's theory of scientific management, right? And believe it or not, that is 120 years old. So that is definitely not what future of work is. So if you're getting my hint, I'm actually saying future of work is turn down Frederick Taylor's theory of scientific management and look at it in a completely new perspective. Look at it in the context of the future. In the future, are we going to have roles that are demarcated by hierarchy? Are we going to have roles that are demarcated by organization structures of siloed functions? Or are we going to have outcome driven roles where everybody is working towards an outcome? These are questions which one can ask when you're talking about future of work. It's about turning that paradigm upside down. It's about making that shift. So I don't want to steal a lot of thunder, but I think this is good enough for an opening remark. And back to you, Ramesh.
And Anubha, would you like to add here something?
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, Ramesh. And, I would say what Harini Rajna just mentioned about the trailer, whether it is Henry Fuel or whether it is Elton Mayo, the things are shaping up and changing in a drastic manner. Now, let me tell you, imagine coming into a new year, 2024, within the first 4 months, I see that we are bombarded with the rush of new technological advancement that could literally impact different areas of your life. And I'm sure that each one of us has experience about this, and thanks to AI for that matter. Now, I would say that the first quarter of the 2024, the Open AI Chat GPT, the mid journey was released, and actually you will see the Microsoft released the Microsoft Fabric, which is end to end analytics using AI. Now look at the kind of the continue in the advancement. Businesses are harness their power to automate tasks, enhance the productivity, and driving the innovation. So I would say that the truth is here about the AI, which is going to be taking up the real smart move, and it's reshaping the job landscape across the industries and transforming the way we work. um, Let me emphasize here on the HR professional because I come from the HR background. We will see that there is a lot of dependency on AI to assist with the recruitment or to the selection process, even for that matter, L&D space. So the programmers actually, you will see now have to use various, I would say chat GPT to validate this code. So the business owner that uses AI driven analytics, they have to make informed business decision based on that. So I would say the process automation, predictive maintenance, quality control, customer service, supply chain management, everything is going to change, drastic change in the next few years, but you will see the good things coming up in the 2024. So that's from my side.
And Hardy, how do you see the integration of generative AI with all the HR process for, especially we can see in learning development, we can see in recruitment process? How do you see how it is going to evolve the HR process?
So yeah, so I would actually take a step back, and even before we get into what does generative AI going to do, what is it going to do in HR processes, how is that integration going to be? I would actually say that here is an opportunity for HR professionals to take a step back and reflect on what is the role of HR in an organization. I think we've over the years we've got muddled up a lot into what is this creature called as an HR professional actually meant to do. And while we evolved from being a personal management team, which was only maintaining attendance and records and grievances and compliances, somewhere along the way, we also became psychologists who are working in the organizations, who are understanding the pulse of the employee, the vision of the business leader, and trying to bridge those gaps. While doing that, somewhere we forgot that we also can go a step ahead, and we can actually co-pilot with the business leader, and we can enable the organization and its capability to deliver more or to deliver to its maximum potential. I think that's a role that HR professionals somewhere in this journey of transforming from personal management to an HR business partner, somewhere we lost that. So here is an opportunity for us to rethink that role. What is it that can we do to create a culture in the organization which helps utilizing generative AI in the right way? Because generative AI, while it comes with a lot of pluses, there is also a shade of gray in it. There are a lot of ethical questions which come around using generative AI extensively in HR. So I think that's where HR people have to really sharpen their skills to understand, look beyond what is just written, uh, go and understand the business a little further, and help utilizing generative AI in its right spirit in the organization towards making it beneficial for the organization rather than just learning it as a new skill. Over to you, Anubha.
Uh, you know what? With I would say 2024 is just round the corner, right? Now, HR professionals are actually contemplating the near future, what I witness, and everyone is looking into that crystal ball to try and understand what's the most pressing issue in the talent management space. There was a study that I was reading about, and I would like to highlight here that the emergence of the hidden workforce, right? Now, with so many employers still facing talent shortage, 2024 will be the year of hidden workforce. Now, this refers to, I would say, I will talk about the America number. I don't have the India number, but there are 27 million Americans who often rejected or they are underutilized because of unfair hiring practice like caregiver, retiree, or neurodivergent professionals, right? The second element is prioritizing the data privacy of employees. So, I personally believe that in 2024, there will be a significant HR trend, which will be heightened prioritization of the employee data privacy. Now, with these two things, I think it's very important that HR needs to integrate AI in the space and they need to leverage with the best of the advantage. Either it could be into the recruitment space, either it is into the succession planning, either into the learning and development space, either into performance management. AI is a must and one should work on that. The second important element would be I would highlight here is the new workforce demographic. So you will see that we adapting the HR system and practices with to the changing workforce demographic will be one of the leading HR trends because you will see the alpha generation, they are really coming up in the great way, and it's just that we really have to rebrand HR as a people and culture. So that's the 4C I can put across, and I think I'm making a very strong statement. Let's HR department called as a people and culture and not HR department. And I think the although there is a comprehensive DEI initiatives, but more than this, I would suggest that let the people should be coached because I'm into that coaching space and we are doing the coaching in 23 countries. And I realize that coaching is something that can actually help them to recognize and it encompasses various aspects of diversity, including race, gender, sexual orientation, and disability. So I think this will help. And actually going to help the achieve the organization, objectives. So that's going to be my thought on this.
Honey, a lot of companies are investing on the generative AI. Wipro, they have invested a lot of money, and they are training around lakhs of people on the generative AI. Infosys, they are investing a lot of money. TCS, they are investing a lot of money. How do you see the impact on the work in 2024? Because there are multiple kind of new jobs are also coming in system. Maybe some routine kind of job that may be removed, but new jobs there would be. How do you see the impact on work, Harni?
Interesting. So the very fact that large organizations are investing in generative AI definitely means that they are very confident of a return on that investment. Because the organizations that are really putting money into it, they are not organizations that are just going to do trial and error or fail by error. So they are very sure about the return on that investment. Now, what is the kind of return on investment that they can expect is what is probably the biggest pain point for any organization, whatever size, whatever demographic, uh, whatever position they are in the life cycle of the business, small, large, medium, whatever it is. I think one thing which is common for every organization, any organization, is retention of employees. That is something which is always going to be there. Retention of right kind of employees is going to be there, and that is a prime problem which anybody would want to address with this. So how can generative AI help in that? No, I was just thinking aloud, and I felt that if you start looking at employees or co-workers in an organization as customers in your employee value proposition, right? So in an employee value proposition, you have what the employer gives to the employees, and in turn of what service the employees render to the employer, right? So in that aspect, if the organization start looking at each individual as a stakeholder, and then generative AI can actually play a huge role in personalizing or hyper personalization of a stakeholder experience, right? So when we're talking of stakeholders, immediately we think of external stakeholders, and we talk of personalizing or hyper personalization of experiences, we talk of customers, clients, outsiders to whom we want to showcase our brand value. But let's take a moment here and look at who are our key stakeholders before we go out to the outside. The employees themselves, our team members themselves, co-workers, colleagues, they are the first stakeholders. So how about using generative AI to hyper personalize their experience in the organization? So I think that is something where organizations who are investing in generative AI are probably focused on, because they're trying to look at how is it that we can hyper personalize an experience? How can we start inculcating brand value within the organization? That's one area. Another area where we could probably see generative AI playing a huge role is in coming up with a lot of simulations in organizations. And again, I'm talking of it from an HR perspective. Your entire learning and development landscape could look very, very different. You could be able to use generative AI and bring in simulations of people in aspirational roles that they want to play. Uh, Earlier, there were more crude methods like shadowing. You would shadow a mentor. You would play that person's role sometimes when it's a safe space. And, there would be an assessment as to whether you're suitable for that role or not. But now generative AI can actually help creating those simulations. So your entire learning and development, performance assessment, succession planning, all of these can look very different when generative AI is deployed in the right manner. So these are two areas where I thought it could make a difference in the workspace where generative AI is used. And of course, hiring, etc., are spaces where you can actually really test them, and they give you quick results for you to assess whether they are doable.
Right. So let me also bring Dr. Anubha into this. Dr. Anubha, in such a case, how do you see that what are going to be the future skills or the skills that would help to succeed in career in near future, you can say, or in 2024?
So, you know what? I always use the two words upskilling and reskilling, right? So uh, there is a predict AI has a potential to add approximately, I'm just giving a approx figure of $16 trillion to the global economy by 2030. Now, this is a very big number. And as per the World Economic Forum, I remember that 97 million new roles will emerge by 2025. Okay. And also, there will be 85 million jobs will be obsolete. So, but still, understand there would be a net gain of 12 million jobs, which will acquire new competencies, updated skills, and a different approach of working. Now, interestingly, when I was going through and after doing a lot of, into the data space, into the skilling, I will put it a very simplistic manner. The two level of skills are required. One is the hard skills and one is the soft skills. The hard skills in 2024, I think every professionals, the students, the Gen Z, the Alpha, they should focus on digital literacy, data analysis, AI and machine learning, coding and programming, cybersecurity, project management, and I would say there is a very smart element to the adaptability. So the agility is another one. With this, we need the soft skills element because without soft skills, nothing will work. Nowadays, the emotional intelligence, your critical thinking, your creativity and innovation, your communication skills, your cultural competency and diversity competency. And with this, the important element is your health and well being. These are the must for the future. So that's from my side. I think these two things are important for every individual.
Health and wellness is not only to be looked at as treating of symptoms.
Yeah.
The future of work is actually talking about how can you structure your work so differently that you don't really run into a problem which is stress and stress at the workplace. So can you make your organizations a lot more psychologically safe? That's something which the future of work is really demanding. Sorry for butting in, Ramesh, back to you.
Hardy, now as we discuss about the work digitization, we are talking about the data, how we will use the data. But one another aspect is also there, and there are also certain report that there would be the end of this RTO kind of thing, and a return to office. Maybe in
Hmm.
2024, we don't see such
Hmm.
word, return to office.
Hmm.
Maybe we look into the transition from remote working to hybrid. How do you see how it is going to be in 2024? How do you see the working models in 2024?
So definitely organizations that are comfortable in working hybrid, working from anywhere, they're going to continue working from anywhere. Okay, so there are definitely going to be more and more such cases of organizations who are moving into work from anywhere or hybrid because they believe it is possible. And that's going to set an expectation largely in the workforce. So it's not very long before many organizations actually encourage work from anywhere. So return to office is, in my opinion, is not something which can be enforced because people are going to be comfortable working from anywhere. So, but what is important is how do you make that work in the coming future is how do you build your organization structure which allows people to work from anywhere? Your organization structure is very traditional. You're expecting people to sit in front of you, it won't work. How are we going to revisit the way work is delegated? How are we going to see how work is measured, monitored? How do appraisals happen? What are those processes? All those have to be looked at from a very fresh perspective by looking at, are we looking at hybrid working? Are we looking at work from anywhere? So we have to look at it from a completely different perspective. So I'm actually circling back to where I started saying we have to turn the world upside down because that's where the future of work is. So nothing is going to be enforceable. There are going to be people who are going to find ways of doing it the way they want it. And it's up to organizations and leadership to allow them to find ways of working and the way they want it. I think that's what we are left with, not with too much of choice.
Right. And we have, a little time. So, Dr. Anubha, how do you see the workforce in 2024? Means we will see more gig workers into the workforce. We will see, what generations that will be there. These are also challenges. How do you see the workforce in 2024?
See, I mean, if you will see that the India's median age is 26.3 now, right? So it's a mid-size, like the age group is of that level where the people are very, very young. And I will take it up from what, right now, Harini was mentioning about the workforce that it's going to be hybrid. Now, here I wanted to highlight, and then I'll talk about what the people are going to be. So, a typical organization where employees work a standard 40 hours per week in the office. I'll give you some shocking figure right now. Only 36% of employees were high performers, right? But when the organization shift from the environment to one of the radical flexibility where the employees have a choice to over where, when, how much they work, the performance is 55% of employees. Now, if we consider these two, right? 36% with 55%. And I also talked about the 26.3 years, right? So we are on a median age is that. So it's a very young organization, young country, young set of people, young mindset. I think it's going to be really a gig, and you will see that the over a period of time, people will be coming up with a set of expertise, which is like, they will be having one additional expertise with them. So there is one organizational competency that there is required. What I foresee is that they will be also having a second line in command with them, so that which is like a kind of a hobby for them, and they are able to make a business out of it. So that's the thing I see, that yes, the people with the high level of skills, not only in one specialization, but dual specialization. I also see the 26.3, which is a median age, very young, and then hybrid element working with a high performance. That's from my side into this.
Right, Dr. Anubha. Yeah, absolutely. There is nothing much relation with this, working model. So productivity has gone up. There are various reports which are indicating that productivity is gone up. There is also a lot of, reduction in the cost. So this is also one of the factor. So maybe we can see the, this transition from remote to hybrid in this 2024. We are really at the very end of time. How would like to conclude, Harini?
We should embrace the future of work with open arms, because it's not to be seen as a threat. It is more an opportunity. It's about changing the way we perceive things. It's about looking at work itself in a very different manner. So it's an opportunity for us to brace ourselves for the future, and therefore I look at, I would just say that let's look forward to a great start in 2024, to learn to look at things differently.
And Dr. Anubha, what are your concluding remarks?
So, the changing future job market is there, and we necessitates a versatile skills. So please, I would say, include both technical and the soft skills in your coterie, and adapt to the changing environment. That's the second thing. To thrive in 2024 and beyond, seize the opportunity for continuous learning and skill development. That's the thing I would say, that if you want to improve your digital literacy, master your data analysis, leadership skills, and invest in your career longevity. So please keep enhancing your skills. That's the essential skills for the future.
So I think it has been wonderful discussion. Thank you so much, Dr. Anubha and Harini, for joining the conversation and sharing your wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much.